Good afternoon. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Student Ambassador. Today's guest speaker is Colonel Lewis Patrick Hawkins, here to share his insights and his story of success in STEM. But before we get to his fascinating journey, please let me bring up my fellow student ambassadors, Hope, Joy, Celia, and our newest ambassador, Oliver, to share their thoughts on today's opening topic, mindset.
Hello, I'm Veteran Ambassador Joy Pagan, and we'd like to welcome our Career Day newest ambassador, Oliver Fu. Welcome to the show, Oliver.
Thank you.
Today we're going to discuss mindset and why it's important. First of all, what does mindset mean to everyone, and how would you define it?
I would define mindset as the way you're thinking. And the way you think can lead to outcome and how you look at the world.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Hope, what about you?
I would look at a mindset as like, you know how you make like a game plan before you go out in the game, like a coach makes a play before they go out in a game. So it's the way you tackle life. You make your game plan and you just tackle life. It's the foundation.
I see it as like a set of attitudes or like beliefs that shape how individuals like see the world around them.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Celia, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with Oliver, and also I just think of mindset as kind of a mode that you put yourself in, usually before you're doing some sort of difficult task or something that you're not sure what the outcome will be.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I think, in my opinion, mindset is the conscious state that you're in, because we can have positive mindsets, but we can also have negative mindsets. So a mindset is really about like how conscious you are, like how you're viewing reality, how you're viewing yourself. That's mindset to me. What do you think is a good mindset to have when you're trying a really hard task?
Oftentimes when I feel discouraged or like I know I'm about to face a really hard task, I just tell myself it's not going to last forever. And that automatically like gives me gives me some fuel to start chasing whatever thing I have to tackle.
Yeah. Also,
100%.
also to add on to that, a good mindset would be like to not take yourself so seriously, because if you take yourself too seriously, you'll stress yourself out and freeze up.
Mhm.
So just take a moment to breathe and be like, it's not, this too shall pass. And
Love that. Love that. I have one. I think I have something similar to that, because whenever I have an assignment that's like very intimidating, what I do is I don't think about it. If I'm not working on it right away, I tend not to think about it, because I feel like if I'm thinking about the future, it just brings anxiety. So what I do is I just stay present in the moment that I'm in, and then I jump on the assignment. So I think once you start working on the hard task, the anxiety goes away, the intimidation goes away, and you're just taking it head on, and it's not as hard anymore. What about you, Celia?
Yeah, I feel like when you're going into a difficult task, I think it's important to understand that getting the task done is going to lead to a much more positive outcome than if you don't do it, and kind of thinking of the outcome as a reward. Or even I've heard from some other adults in my life have told me that even actually giving yourself a reward, like planning to go get something to eat or planning to go eat ice cream or something or watch your favorite movie after you get a homework assignment done will give you more incentive to do it.
Yes.
I definitely use that to get through my finals in college. I was like, "You're gonna grind it out this week." As you can see, my hair is not looking the best, but I was like, "We're gonna get it in the hairstyle. We're gonna get all dressed up after finals week. We're gonna reward ourselves, spend the money, get a new wardrobe." So, yeah, I definitely that was my reward. So I definitely and it worked because I killed my finals. So I love
Yeah.
that.
yay.
Thank you.
So, how do you change your mindset when you find it getting negative?
Oh, Joy, we have a question from the audience.
Oh, we do? Okay.
I want to
Where's
hear.
so where is it at? Oh, there we go. How do you get yourself into a positive mindset when you aren't feeling positive? Okay, yeah. So, um, this question is a really great question. And I think a lot of the times, um, what happens is a lot of us we have positive mindsets, but what we can't control is our thoughts. So when those negative thoughts come rushing in, I used to want to wrestle them. Just be like, oh no, 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 like, you know. But I realized I am not my thoughts are not me. So I realized like those negative thoughts that come into my head, that's all it is. It has no meaning or weight to it. And when I accept that and when I accept all that exists is like me and what I want to consciously think, the negative goes away because it doesn't exist. It's just you're thinking, you know? What about you guys? What do you guys think?
Um, I think listening to music can help. Um, Depending on your music taste, like some people like to listen to jazz, and other people like to listen to something a little more upbeat, like trap music. But it's all up to you. Like listen to whatever gets you into a positive um, feeling, and then you'll feel more motivated to do whatever you need to do.
I definitely agree. I use my negative thoughts as kind of like an inside scoop of myself because I've learned that a lot of negative thoughts I had are come from places that I need to work on, need to focus on, need to see. So instead of running away from my negative thoughts, I actually face them. I'm like, oh, why are you thinking like this? And then what is it telling me about myself that I need to fix? And then I fix that. I do the work. I put the work in, and that negative thought has less power. But one thing I realized is we are never going to have just truly positive thoughts. That's not how life works. But it's how you handle the negative and the positive because without negative you can't really uh like value the positive, and without the positive you can't grow without a negative. So I tend not to look at the positive and negative. A thought is a thought. I need to go deeper into it and figure out what it's trying to tell me.
That's so
So
true.
Thank you.
my last question, I think a lot of things I've done, like as we're adulting, is I've actually read things that have helped me with mindset or just life in general. Have you guys read any books that have helped you that you would recommend? Like, I would say one thing, we all know TikTok is popular. There was this popular TikTok book. It was called Stop Thinking, or yeah, I think it was called Stop
It's
Thinking.
it's called Don't Believe Everything You Think.
Oh, yeah, don't it's called Don't Believe Everything You Think, and that book changed my life. It taught me that we can create our own reality that we want. Like using our mind and just embracing like the risk. But a lot of the times we're our own biggest competition, our own biggest enemy. And in the book, it's like, don't believe everything you think. Those thoughts that are negative, they're gonna come naturally. But once you say, "Oh, that's not me. That's just random." What is me saying I'm gonna succeed. It tends to all the anxiety and the overthinking tends to. But what books helped you guys? Like if you guys did read any.
Um, a long time ago, when I was in eighth grade, I read The Alchemist, by
Ooh,
Paulo Coelho, and it was a pretty good book. Basically, the protagonist he goes on like a life journey, a spiritual journey, and he travels from Andalusia, Spain, to Egypt, and along the way he has many places where he could have stopped, like he could have stopped and lived a comfortable life, but he decided he wanted to go further, he wanted to go more. So he reaches his goal basically through his mindset, and I found that pretty inspiring.
I'm definitely like my uncle got me that book like last summer before school started, and I have to read it. Thank you for that. Oliver, you have any books you recommend?
There was this book that I read. It's a book series that I started reading in middle school. It's called Michael Vey. It was
Hmm.
the protagonist about he had like this condition. He had Tourette's syndrome, but he didn't let it hold him back. His mindset was so strong. He just persevered throughout the rest of the book, and it was a fantasy. They gave him like superpowers, but I would highly recommend that book.
Nice. That sounds so cool. Hope, what about you?
I'm actually gonna gonna say a movie. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I couldn't
that's good too, though.
I couldn't think of any books, but my movie is Black Panther, and the reason why it really isn't the movie. It's like Chadwick Boseman. Like we didn't know throughout the whole entire filming process he was battling cancer, but that we didn't see a man battling cancer because he chose in his mindset to not that's not what he wanted to be wanted to show. All we saw was this great actor who made amazing motivational speeches, and I think that right there just showed me the mindset, how powerful your mindset is. And he created his own reality. In reality, he was battling cancer, but he chose that his reality was going to be this big African American male that lots of people like me and Oliver can look up to and be motivated by. So it was crazy when I found out that he was facing that the entire time, and it was just like I was just mind blown.
It was
Love
heartbreaking
that.
to see he passed.
It really was. It just really showed, though, that our mind is our only limit, and he did not let his mind be a limit. He's like, I have cancer, but I'm gonna look like the strongest man on earth, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, he looked really strong,
And
and that's hard, huh?
I think that's a good example of how like negative was cancer, positive was he had a huge role, and that's why I said the negative and positive they play into each other because he still was able to create this reality. But Celia, what was one of your books or movies?
The only book I can think of off the top of my head is The Other Wes Moore. I haven't finished it yet, but basically it's about this guy. His name is Wes Moore. I believe he's actually the governor of Maryland. Yeah. And he essentially, in the newspaper one day, he finds like an article of a guy with the same exact name as him, Wes Moore, who was in jail for robbery, I think, for life. And basically, it just explores the idea that the Westmore that writes the book, he was able to persevere through his past and become the first Black governor of Maryland, and that another kid that had a slightly different childhood than him ended up having, a negative future. But it just explores the ideas of persevering throughout all the things that can happen to a Black man and all the things he had to do to become governor and to write this book. So I'm excited to finish it, but I just haven't had the time lately to get into it.
I love it. I have to look into that.
This was a great discussion. I love hearing all y'all's point of views and how you guys take on life. And life is for us, honestly. It's not against us, it's for us. And we are our biggest creators. I can't wait to see what you guys do with y'all's lives. And it's only up from here. Okay, thank you for this discussion, guys. Moria, back to you.
So thank you, ambassadors, for this lively discussion. I hope viewers, I hope we gave you something to think about today. Now I'll bring it back to Hope with today's special guest.
Thank you, Moira, for sharing your experiences and what you thought about our mindset conversation. I am Hope Agon, a college student and a veteran ambassador, and I'm here with this pleasure of interviewing Colonel Hawkins. Good afternoon, Colonel Hawkins.
Hey, Hope, good morning. How are you? Or good afternoon now. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Colonel Hawkins, can you tell us how did your STEM career begin?
Okay. So let me back up a little bit. So first of all, hey, it's a pleasure being with you this morning on behalf of Major General Burkhead, our TAG, the Adjutant General of Maryland. So it is a great opportunity, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning. As far as my STEM career, it's a funny question that you asked that. I actually didn't go into college or go directly focusing on a STEM career. I was an aviation major, started out in college, and started flying. So that's kind of more on the technology side. So I want to say I kind of, by default, still probably fell into a STEM career. But I always wanted to fly since I was about 4 years old. And in the military, I was about 10 years old. I always wanted to be in the military. So they just kind of transitioned into aviation, wanting to fly, technology. And I kind of ended up in STEM as a default, I would kind of say. But that's kind of how my STEM career launched, with just a love for aviation. Are you able to hear me, Hope? Ray or Sarah, are you guys on? Can you hear me?
I'm Joy. You can put me on the okay, yeah.
Right.
Honestly, I loved your answers. Like to know that it wasn't planned for you to be in STEM. It actually was, a default, but it just shows us like sometimes we start one place, but we can end in a whole different direction. And life has a way of like finding our destiny for us. So what is the most exciting aircraft in your opinion? Like now that you said that you flew planes at first. So what was your most exciting aircraft that you've flown? I've always been interested in that.
Okay, so I started out flying small airplanes in college, so I'm dual rated flying airplanes and helicopters. But I'm a Black Hawk pilot now, so I would by far say the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter is an outstanding aircraft and one of my favorites. I'm a little biased toward it. I've spent my career in that aircraft, but it is a workhorse for the U.S. Army. You can do multiple things with it, but definitely the Black Hawk helicopter. If you've seen the movie Black Hawk Down, that helicopter is flown in that movie, and that's what we fly today.
Oh, okay. So we want to see more of your presentation. Do you mind presenting that to us now, and then we're gonna get back to our Q&A?
Yep, absolutely. So what I
Okay,
wanted to
great.
do, yep, I wanted to make sure everybody kind of had an idea of kind of what I do in the organization, so kind of get everybody baselined a little bit. So the 29th Expeditionary Combat Aviation Brigade, that's the aviation brigade, the organization here in Maryland. So all of Maryland Army aviation assets, I'm the commander of that unit here in Maryland. Next slide, please. All right, so we call this a task organization. So the very top block, that's me and my command team. So I have a sergeant major and a chief warrant officer. So we look at everything as a team. So we lead this aviation brigade here in Maryland. So the bottom line off of this slide, we have about 16 units in our organization. There's the subordinate commands and then the other units that fall up under that. You can kind of see them segmented as you go from left to right. But hey, bottom line, we're authorized over 1,100 soldiers here in Maryland, and that makes up our brigade here in Maryland. All right, next slide. So I want to make a little distinction here, Joy. If you look at this slide here, so this says war trace units. So if we go to combat, whether that's Iraq, Afghanistan, overseas, we come together with about 5 to 10 other states. So if you look from left to right, those other states, in addition to Maryland and my team leading this organization, you would have Florida, Iowa, Alabama, and Virginia all coming together, training together, and then going overseas to do our warfighting mission or anything else that we're called to do. But this organization here is over 2,200 people. So anywhere from Army aviators that fly, that maintain aircraft, to our medics, to our doctors, to our HR professionals, to our supply and logisticians. All of that represents about 2,200 people to make sure that this organization is ready to go. Next slide. All right, so here in Maryland proper, remember I told you about 1,100 folks here in Maryland, but these are just the indication of where our units are located in Maryland. So you can see with the stars, a majority of our aviation assets are here in Edgewood. That's just about 30 minutes north of Baltimore. Phillips Army Airfield, that's at Aberdeen Proving Grounds. That's about 30 minutes north of where we are here in Edgewood. And then a couple of units in Townsend and Pax River down in Southern Maryland. Okay, next slide, please. Wait, go back on this slide. I'm sorry, go back one. So with every organization, there's a mission statement. So if you look at the very top of that, it says the mission. I'll let you guys read that there. But this is our mission for our organization, for our brigade. So every soldier in the brigade knows what this mission is, and then they have their duties and how we come together as a team to fulfill that mission. So everybody, without a doubt, understands the mission, understands their role, understands how they are to perform as a team member in the organization for us to be successful. Okay, next slide. As far as our capabilities, the aircraft that we fly here in Maryland, so I just go from the left and then to the right. So Our biggest aircraft is called the Chinook, the CH-47. That's our heavy lift aircraft. It can carry a lot of weight, and it moves a lot of equipment around the battlefield. Right up under that, you see the Black Hawk. That's what I fly, and it's a medevac aircraft also. So I'm also a medevac pilot. So I do search and rescue, etc. So those are our medevac aircraft here in Maryland. The one up under that is the assault. It's still a Black Hawk helicopter, but it's used to insert troops into the war zone or carry out other missions where a medevac aircraft cannot do. So it makes sense. You wouldn't want to use your medevac aircraft to carry a bunch of troops in with machine guns, etc. So we make sure that those missions stay separated. And if you look to the far right, I'll start at the top. That's our Lakota 72. That's our light utility helicopter used for transporting VIPs, and some of them are used for a medical evacuation. And we also have unmanned aircraft systems. You see the TUAS, that's our tactical unmanned aircraft system. That's down there in Pax River, Southern Maryland. So we do have unmanned aircraft system capability within the brigade. And we also have one fixed wing airplane aircraft that we use for a little bit longer range missions, but we do have airplanes in our formation. Okay, next slide. And these are just some of the capabilities here that we have in Maryland. If you go from left to right, I'll start off at number one. Obviously, transportation. We can transport our soldiers. We can transport some of our civilian leadership, whether that be in Maryland or into other states. Communication, we have an air traffic control unit here. So that's an interesting and very lucrative career field. So a lot of our air traffic controllers work in places like BWI, Reagan Airport, Philadelphia Airport on their full-time job, and then come here on the weekends to do their Army mission to be air traffic controllers. So communication, firefighting, information and intelligence planning, emergency assistance, and search and rescue. These are just some of the missions that we can perform here in the brigade using our aviation assets. And next slide. And of course, Maryland Army National Guard. So on this one, Joy, we work for you. Everybody that's online here, we work for you. You are the customer. So whether that's a hurricane, whether that's a tornado, whether that's riots, that's what the National Guard is here to do. So we work for our governor. Someone mentioned Governor Westmore. So Governor Westmore is our commander-in-chief here in Maryland. If we happen to go overseas to Iraq, then the commander-in-chief is the president of the United States. But every state has their own National Guard, and the governor is the commander-in-chief of that National Guard organization. And that should be the last slide.
Thank you so much, Colonel Hawkins. If it's okay with you, I'd like to invite my fellow ambassadors to ask you some questions.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Fellow ambassadors, would you introduce yourselves again?
My name is Oliver. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Oliver, nice meeting you.
Hello, I'm Moria Bowman.
Hi, Moria.
My first question, my sister's going to join us soon, but let's start with these questions because I'm dying to hear these answers.
Yep, go ahead.
What is the most exciting aircraft in your opinion?
So that's a loaded question a little bit. So in my opinion, so I'm a little bit biased. I think it really depends on the individual because everybody's different. So I have friends that are in the Air Force and in the Navy. So they like flying fighter jets, being really high up in the sky. But for Army aviation, we fly really low. So you're talking about 30 to 50 feet down in river valleys, around mountains, canyons. You see ducks and geese that are like flying up around as we fly so low. So I like rotary wing aircraft. The Black Hawk, I'm a little bit biased on, but I'm gonna stick with the Black Hawk since I'm an Army aviator and stay on the rotary wing side of the house.
That reminds me of this movie I saw with do you know? Okay, so they had like fighter jets and they had to go really high for the mission, but they also had to go really, really, really low. The actor was really famous for doing.
Was it? It wasn't Maverick Top Gun, was it?
It was
No,
Maverick.
I think it was. Yeah.
It was,
So, one of my favorite movies, that aircraft was an FA-18 Hornet that's used in the Navy and the Marine Corps. But yeah, those guys, they get down real low, real fast. But if in that scene, one of the pilots got shot down, you saw one of the helicopters, a big helicopter that came around really low and started shooting. So, but yeah, our aircraft are very, very capable, have multi-role missions. You know, it's not that aircraft can only do one thing. They can do a multiple variety of things.
So
Okay.
you said in oh, sorry, Hope. So you said in the beginning how you didn't have a STEM career at first, and then you actually ended up having a STEM career. STEM is intimidating. I know for lots of people, they hear the word STEM and they're like, "Oh, that's scary." Were you ever intimidated when you first started your career in STEM? And if so, how did you get through that?
Yep. So when I wasn't intimidated at all, actually. So it started from a dream. Since I was 3 or 4 years old, I always wanted to fly. So that was the dream, was to fly. You know, STEM, etc. I just it kind of ended up being a part of STEM. But the goal was always to be a military aviator. So technology, engineering, that kind of accompanies that career field. But it wasn't necessarily um, it wasn't necessarily an issue or a concern going in. I mean, I had a blast. So you get a chance to finish your classes during the day, and in the afternoon, I would get in an airplane and go fly. So it was fun and it was great. Now, don't get me wrong, there's challenges, but with anything that's worth having, there's always going to be challenges. But what you guys talked about a little bit earlier was mindset. So the mindset was the ultimate goal was to be an Army aviator. These are some of the goals or some of the milestones I have to hit to get to that ultimate goal. So mindset played a key. That was key. All right, hey, get through these finals. Hey, get through this check ride on the aircraft, and then your career keeps going. So mindset was key, and mindset I think kept me out of the negative that surrounded that. Hey, what if I fail this? What if I fail that? It was the mindset. So mindset was key.
Awesome, awesome. Go
Oliver.
ahead, Roger.
Colonel Hawkins, so I know that going to the Air Force Academy and being deployed, they can pose many different challenges. So I was just wondering, who helped you the most when you were facing some of those challenges?
Okay, so I would say it kind of depends on where I was at a certain point in time. My mom raised me to be very, very independent. I went through ROTC program, and you get those leadership skills and how to deal with situations going through ROTC and the National Guard at the same time. So I was a junior in college when I got in the National Guard, and they were preparing me to be an officer and to lead troops and to deal with complex situations. So I would have a mentor 1 weekend a month as I go to the National Guard and do my drill weekend. But I would have a mentor that would talk to me about challenges and concerns and getting through certain situations. So that's key, and great if you can kind of have somebody to lean toward and to ask those questions to get through some of those situations. So everything I would say probably from my mom early on that gave me those skills early to get through college and to persevere and get my degree. But as I went to combat and dealing with situations overseas, it was my more seasoned mentors that already kind of been there, done that kind of grabbed me and say, all right, hey, what are your questions? Perhaps look at this or perhaps look at that. So that was key. And so doing a lot of reading on my own too. So let's say if you don't have that mentor, hey, books are great, or audio books are great because that's somebody else's life that they've given to you pretty much and that you could relate to, or you can grab something and put in your kit bag to help you out in the future.
I love that you said that because I used to tell my friends, like even with movies, I told them I was like, what's the message you got out your movie? And they're like, who watches movies for entertainment? But I said, you always like okay, so like that we have a climax and we have the antagonist and then we have the certain issue. It's like it's literally a secret way of not having to experience something but getting the life key lessons. It's like an easy little you get to gain it without even going through the experience. So I definitely see how you what you say about books, being able to teach you a lot. So I definitely understand that. Moira, do you have any questions that you want to share with us too?
I do actually. Um, so this is a kind of basic question, But when you were in school, what helped you the most when you were studying? Like, what helped you focus?
What helped me focus the most? So I will always leave it to this. Um, my overall goal was one to obviously get my degree, but ultimately to be a military aviator. That was like always the goal. So no matter going through college, those challenges or whatever, I would look at that and I'm like, oh man, I got this final. I don't know if I'm gonna get through it. But hey, if I don't get through this may affect where I want to be later in the future. But some of the things that you guys were discussing, time management is huge. I'm the world's worst procrastinator. So I will wait until the week before to finish an assignment. However, I work very, very good under stress. So I could have a few days left and I would burn midnight oil and work 3 nights in a row or 3 days in a row. And I had 3 months to do that subject. And then I would come out with a B or an A. But that was just the way that I did things. I do not recommend waiting to the last minute. But everybody's different, right? So you have to know yourself, know what you're capable of doing, and then manage everything. You have to be able to balance things. So balance things, have fun at the same time. You don't want to be all work and no play. You have to be able to balance. So that's what I'd say. Just balance everything and know your capabilities and know yourself.
That was actually one of the next questions I was going to ask you, especially because last career day we talked about mental health and how for a good mental health we should have a good work to life balance. So it does seem, yes, like you were always on track. How did you maintain that work to life balance though? Like how did you still have fun? What things do you find fun? And yeah, just let us know about that.
Okay, so I make sure that that's priority in our organization. So as I mentioned before, we have 1,100 folks in our organization, and I will bring this up during our meetings, especially during the summertime. Kids are out of school, and I would tell our folks, hey, make sure that you take time off. Make sure that you put in for vacations because hey, you have a family. Those members, whether it be your mom, dad, brothers, hey, they're your family. You need to make time for those folks also. But in all fairness, um, they're what makes us successful also. So if you have a good family, good friends, and you invest in them, hey, they're investing in you. And sometimes you need that ear to hear you or to kind of vent to get you through. So I'm a big champion of work-life balance. I just always make it a priority in our organization because what you don't want to happen is you burn your people out.
Right.
So when you burn your people out, they're exhausted and their performance goes down, their attitude goes down, their mindset's in the wrong place. So you have to be able to balance that as being a leader in the organization. So you have to look at everything, balance that, and try to do the best that you can.
I love this Q&A already. This has to be one of my favorite career Q&A days because what you do is so interesting, and then how you put it, and you're so real. Like
Yeah.
you're so real. I love that. I have one final question for you,
Yep.
and that is, since we talk about like having to like go through hurdles to reach your ultimate goal, but since reaching your ultimate goal, what's one thing you learned about yourself?
So one thing I learned about myself in reaching ultimate goals is I can definitely stick with a plan. I've obviously been doing that my entire career. I think what I learned at this point is, and you guys, I figure this out as you get older, but once you kind of hit those goals and those milestones and you're in a certain place, it's becoming even more important, especially as a leader, to give that knowledge and that education and those opportunities to others around you so that they can have the blueprint to be successful. So that hey, I'm here today. I'm absolutely thrilled to be with you guys today. So you can hear, hey, just from my perspective, on how to accomplish your goals and what are some things that you can put in your kit bag. But I would definitely say just being focused, being able to stick to a goal, but now to share that information with our team to make them more successful.
I love everything you just mentioned. I agree 100%, and I hope to become half as good a leader as you are, one day
Better
of
than
my life. Do you have any final words you want to leave us with before we hand it over to Oliver?
Yep. So a couple of things. I'll take about 2 more minutes here. So sometimes there's a misconception about the military. So the National Guard specific, a lot of folks think it's just full time when it's not. So here in our organization, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have engineers. That's their full time career, and they come here on a weekend and fly a Black Hawk helicopter, twice a week, or they're on communications equipment. So the Guard is a part time career that can be advantageous to your civilian career. So we have a lot of folks, like I said, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they fly for Delta Airlines, JetBlue, but that's really something that I want to make sure that your community understood. And we support our states, whether that's Florida, whether that's North Carolina, Maryland. We help our citizens first, and then we help obviously the nation if we have to go do our missions. A couple other things here. So I wanted to leave you guys with a few takeaways. Have a dream and an executable plan to get through those goals. So there's one thing to dream, but you have to have a plan, an executable plan, measure those goals to get to where you are. What you do right now matters. So what you do right now, whether that's building relationships, studying a little bit more, staying out of trouble, what you do right now matters for your next 5, 10, or 15 years. Leadership and relationships matter. So when we talked about STEM and how I kind of defaulted into STEM, so you have a lot of smart people in STEM, but you also have to have leaders that understand that career field that can bring those teams together to talk and accomplish goals. Because some folks can't communicate well, but some folks can. So you have to have leaders that can bring all of that together. So I think that's one thing that kind of got me to where I'm at. I'm very good at bringing teams together, and just seeing those STEM organizations be successful. Be a team player. All right. In our organization, no one is before the organization. So always be a team player and build those relationships. And finally, consider a career of servant leadership. I've been in the military 24 going on 25 years. So there's nothing I'd rather do than serve our community, or we have a hurricane or whatever. We're the first that's called. So you see those helicopters doing search and rescue missions. We work for you guys. We work for the community. And we're very big about producing servant leaders. So just think about a career in that field also.
Thank you so much for working for our community and just for being supporters and just for always being there. We owe you guys a lot. And we respect you guys a lot. So thank you. We see you
so much today.
and we appreciate you. It's been wonderful talking with you today, Colonel Hawkins. Thank you for taking the time to join us for Career Day. Before I turn it over to Oliver, I want to introduce this month's STEM inventor. Here's a word for, Before I turn it over to Oliver, who's introducing this month's STEM inventor, here's a word from our sponsor, Lockheed Martin.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Hello, my name is Oliver Fu, and I'm a junior in high school from Montgomery, Alabama. Thank you, everyone, for your insightful interview and questions for Colonel Hawkins. And thank you, Colonel, for sharing your journey. Now, let's learn about another talented individual, this time from the field of medicine. Today's inventor is Dr. Charles Drew, father of the blood bank. Dr. Charles Drew is one of modern medicine's most progressive, innovative thinkers. Born in 1904 in Washington, D.C., he attended Amherst College on a football scholarship before biology professor ignited his passion for medicine. Next, he attended McGill University of Medicine in Montreal, Canada, and received top awards, competitive scholarships, and prizes while graduating second in his class in 1933. Next, he began his surgical residence at Montreal Hospital under John Beatty, and he hoped to attend the Mayo Clinic, but was met with discrimination and not allowed to practice alongside his white peers. Next, instead of being discouraged, Charles Drew persevered and became a faculty member at Howard University of Medicine. In 1938, he earned a fellowship to Presbyterian Hospital in New York. Instead of being discouraged, Charles Drew, the path forward was not easy in New York either. His overseeing doctor placed him in the experimental blood bank so he wouldn't have direct access to his patients. His supervisor saw greatness in him and conceived in his overseeing to doctor to acknowledge his excellence and give him better opportunities. Dr. Charles Drew published research on blood preservation, including methods for mobile donation, new techniques to separate plasma from blood cells, and a method for transporting plasma in salt solution. He passed the American Board of Surgery exams with a legendary speech, and this led him to run the Blood for Britain program in the 1940s when massive amounts of transfusions were taking place in World War II. Dr. Drew is the father of blood banks, and his techniques became the foundation for the Red Cross donation and blood mobiles worldwide. He spent 9 years as the head of Department of Surgery at Howard University and chief of surgery at Freedman's Hospital, and he believed in teaching new generations of students about medicine. Medicine was his longest lasting contribution to the field. Students, we hope you are all enjoying learning more about STEM careers at today's BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day, streamed live from STEM City, USA. Dr. Drew has a great lesson for us to take away: to persevere in the face of adversity and look for new roads to reach your destination. Next month, we will share another inventor who changed the way we see the world. Let's take a quick commercial break to learn more about STEM City, USA.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
That was STEM City USA, our 2D metaverse. Last month, we shared more about the AI-powered library, COL AI. That is an STEM City Open System USA. You can interact with our archives and ask questions to locate primary sources from decades of different media. Don't forget to visit stemcityusa.com and enter the Education and Discovery building. Then
enter the library and sign up for your digital library card. I want to bring my sister along with Moira up so we can discuss our first year as freshmen in college. And congratulations, guys. We are finished. We're now sophomores in college after this year. So congratulations, Moira. How did you feel? What college? I want to remind I want our viewers to know, what college did you attend for your freshman year?
So for my freshman year, I'm attending Santa Fe College, and I'm gonna do my 2 years, and then I'm gonna transfer to FAMU.
Okay, is Santa Fe College a community college?
Yes.
I'm in a community college too. I'm in Harrisburg Community College. So I'm doing my 2 years. So we have one more year to do here. We're gonna do amazing, and then I guess we were both gonna transfer. So what did you learn from your first year? Oh, Joy, what college did you go to?
So first, I want to apologize. I had some technical difficulties, but I'm back on now. And what school I want to apply for? You said?
No, what school did you go to for your freshman year of college?
Oh, I went to my community college, save money. It's called Harrisburg Area Community College, but it's actually a very great one. It's 15th in the nation. It's honestly, they offer you like one-on-one free tutoring, everything, and I feel very blessed to have attended there. And I'm going to attend there next year as well.
That's
So,
great.
what do you guys believe was the biggest difference between high school and between college?
Well, in college, you can't skim the textbook anymore. You gotta actually study. I learned that the hard way.
I feel like the biggest difference for me was I was so much more passionate about college than I was high school. I went into college thinking, yeah, like I did high school good, but like I wasn't as like passionate. But college, I felt I had a different mindset. Like, this is for my future. It's in my hands now. Like in high school, you're required to take all these classes. In college, I can navigate what I want to take, and I can navigate how good I'm going to be at it. So I don't know. It's like I'm in control and I like it. Now I'm gonna get the most out of it. Joy, what did you? What was the biggest differences for you?
The biggest difference for me is that you're right, it's all on you. So it's like it makes it so much more motivational, because no professor is going to be like, you didn't turn your assignment in. That's up to you. There's no one else to blame except for yourself. And that gives me kind of the inspiration to do this for yourself. I also College also taught me that the sky's the limit as to what you can learn. There's so many options of what you can like choose to major in, choose to take classes about, and
Right.
me being able to scan through and see which ones spark my interest, I find that really like very helpful and fun.
So within our college careers, there's definitely high points, and there's definitely points where, like, Lord, please help us. What were some of the low points you guys went through, and how did you overcome those low points?
For me, one of my low points was finals week. It's such a pain during finals week, like especially when you're almost done and you just want to do nothing. You're just like, I want to be done. But I overcame that by just being like, let's just keep going. Like, you just got 2 more days to go, and
Right.
it goes by faster than you think.
I
It's
think one of my lowest points was I always thought it is one of my biggest strengths has been writing, and my English professor for 102 did not like my writing style at all. But my 101 professor, with my fall one, she loved my writing. So I had to go from fall to spring semester, and professor just did not like my writing style at all. And it I've always been like praised for my writing, so it was a rude awakening that, like, every college professor really isn't going to fit you and your style. And she kind of, at one point, my confidence was like super low when it came to writing, and I had to write a lot for my assignments, so it was a struggle to get my assignments motivating, and like having to push past the confidence. But then another college, a tutor I went to told me, some professors are gonna love you, some professors aren't gonna, not gonna be your type. But what you have to do is not give your confidence, not give someone the power of confidence in one. Don't put your confidence in the power of one person. They don't define who you are, and just play the game. You know what I mean? Like what a professor wants. Just try to still be who you are, but also get that grade up.
Yes.
um
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh,
Go.
the question is actually a good one, because I feel like everyone figures something out that they struggled with in college. My thing, I would say, pretty much was the intimidation factor. Science, for example, when I found out I had to take a science class, I thought I was done in high school with science, and I was like, man, I have to take a science with lab, and I was scared. But what happened was I just delved right into it, because I realized your mind, we can learn anything. All we have to do is ask if we have questions. And doing that really proved to me, like, there is no limit. So, also procrastination. My first semester, I procrastinated a lot. My second semester, I wrote down a whole list of stuff I wanted to achieve, and I said end procrastination. That's exactly what I did for my next semester. And it was so cool seeing myself get past that and not struggle with that anymore.
Well, I'm so proud of you guys. Joy, are you so? It says you. Oh, okay. I'm so proud of you guys, and we did it. And I cannot wait for our next 3 years. We're going to do great things, and we're going to make amazing accomplishments. Thank you guys for joining me in this talk about our freshman year. Have a great summer, and let's get back at it for sophomore year. Moria, over to you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so thank you. Okay, thank you to all who joined us for Career Day. Thank you to our Career Day speaker, Colonel Hawkins, for joining us today. Please remember to visit STEMCityUSA.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, defense, information security, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us for the next Career Day on June 8th, 2024, where we'll feature even more STEM professionals, college students, and high school standouts. I'm looking forward to it. See you next time. This is Moria Bowman, signing off.
Every day at Lockheed Martin, we are creating the future. When did I decide to become an engineer? Where I grew up in my village, we had a lot of interaction with nature. So I was always fascinated by the flight of the hummingbird. Seeing this marvelous aerodynamics of the hummingbird gave me this general idea that I wanted to be working on the ability to control things that flew. I've had this long running curiosity, I still do today, of asking the question, why is this the way it is? Are there ways to improve what it does? And in fact, those are the same questions we ask every day at Lockheed Martin. That's why my colleagues come to work saying, this is great, we've done all these great things, we've built all these great systems. How could we make it better? And how could we make it better together? Lockheed Martin's engineers and scientists are at the forefront of innovation. Everything from AI and machine learning, to hypersonics, to directed energy. Individually, all these are really critical capabilities that we need to develop. To actually deliver something ahead of ready to our customers, it takes pulling these pieces together into an overall mission capability. What we are doing here matters to our nation, to our nation's security.